Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, today we're going to be making a tabletop wine rack. It's going to hold 7 to 8 bottles of wine, and that might be a little on the heavy duty side, but that's okay. That's just the way I do things around here. Let's get started. All right, so the first thing I did is went over to my metal supply area and grabbed what I thought I needed to do this project, along with the 1/2-inch solid bar stock right there, and then cleaned up the pieces as I need them right here. Now this this piece is a 3/4 by 1.5 inch rectangular tubing right here, and this is going to act as the back support. Now I'm trying to get this look to be just all with a mill scale look, you know, rustic metal look. So that's what that 2-inch by 1/8 inch piece is going to do. It's going to ultimately get welded to the front of that. So along with the solid bar stock, it looks all rustic. So here I'm cutting the pieces that I need, the 1/2-inch solid bar stock. I'm just using the fine slugger cutoff saw right here. You know, this thing works really good for everything that I use it for. The only disadvantage to this is you can see the chips just fly everywhere, but outside of that, you know, the thing does a great job cutting just about any material you want to cut through it. That's real speed right there. Just trying to show you guys how long it takes to cut that. Once I got everything all cut together, it's time to do a little bit of assembly. Now, this is the way I did the very first one. I just used a square and put the pieces together, and I'm just tacking it on one side all the way around all 4 pieces. And ultimately, I am going to do a little bit of welding to them a little bit later. But once I got the one done and I knew it was nice and square, I went ahead and just made a jig or a template and just welded that directly to my welding table right there, because I knew I was making multiples of these things, and I thought this would be the easiest way to do it. And there's all the pieces all cut and ready for assembly. You know, the one thing about this is the jig or template, whatever you want to call it, it worked out really good, but for the first 2, kind of tight, and I had a little bit of a problem getting them out, but nevertheless, it all worked out really good there. You know, just a little screwdriver to pry those couple out, and then the rest seemed to work pretty good from that point on. You know, pretty handy to have this type of thing, you know, jigs and templates, whatever, when you're doing multiple of items like this. It just makes it that much easier and faster, and makes the project move along, you know, really good. You know, and when it's all done, you know, even though it's welded to your table, that's the beauty of this whole thing. You can just cut it off. It literally just took me less than a minute to cut this off right here. And I took my flap disc and ground those welds down flat, and the table was perfectly flat, just like nothing ever happened. And here you can see that I'm welding the inside of all of the wine rack holders, if you will, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to not have any visual welds on this. This is the base piece. It's about 18 inches long, so I didn't have a template for this. I am just making one of them, so I just welded that together on its own. And then I just took it over to the Burr King. You know, this is a great addition to the shop right here. I don't know what I did without something like this. You know, when you have great tools, it's amazing how the quality you can do. Boy, this grinder is something else. You can just see the flexibility there for really soft sanding. And you know, I was able to just bend the table down and the platen back. And then I'm using the wheel itself to do the grinding of the weld on the back side flat, and it just cuts it so smoothly. It's really a nice piece of machinery. Once I got them all done, and this is the back support right here, you can see that I'm welding that piece of 2-inch by 1/8 inch flat bar stock to this, and then once that's done, of course, be flipped around, and you know, I'm trying not to have any welds visible at all. So this is the base. I put the base on right here. The only visible weld you're going to have is the base to the back right there, and then so now I'm marking everything out, trying to get the spacings about 4 inches apart. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this. Now ultimately, I found a block of wood that was exactly 4 inches. Took it over here to the bandsaw and just cut it right in half and created a couple of pieces that I could just ultimately just stack on there. I thought that was the easiest way. So once I got the first one nice and level, and I'm operating off of a level table, then it was fairly easy to just go ahead and put those spacer blocks in there and just weld everything up. You can see I'm offsetting the wine bottle holders themselves by about 4 inches. But with this setup and this the wood blocks right here, it went pretty smooth. Got all the way to the top and everything worked out perfectly. Nice and level, nice and flat. And this is where I flipped it upside down, and then I'm welding the actual holders to the back right here. Again, you're not going to be able to see these. I'm going to flip it around the other way, but this is what actually holds it in place. I just want to give you guys a couple of shots of the welds right there. That's what's going to be supporting it to the back. And once everything is flipped around the other way, you really don't really see any welds except for the bottom piece, which isn't too bad right there. And this is just some polyurethane, some polyurethane semi-gloss, and it just gives it I wanted that rustic look, metal look, so it just gave it kind of a little seal coat with a little glossy shine, and turned out really good. I'm really pleased the way this project turned out. Well, there it is. The tabletop wine rack is complete, and I got to say, I'm pretty pleased with the way this turned out. As for the 7 or 8 bottles of wine, which we talked about before the video started, you can see that I've got 7 bottles in the rack itself, and the 8th bottle is down on the bottom, which is actually the stand, but they all fit in there. The build time on this was about 3 hours, and the cost for material was about $30. Just on a side note, if you haven't already checked out my website, please do so at JIMBO'sGarage.com. We've got some shirts, some hats, some stickers, and other miscellaneous things available. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook and Instagram. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe for more videos.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.